Once again, we are back. This time we are making another Shadowbox jack-o'-lantern. I know you're thinking, you just did a bunch of these, but this one I worked the wiring a little bit different. And honestly, this frame will hold 10 by 10 image. So I think it may be a little bit easier for people who aren't used to doing this. A bigger area, you can go a little bit bigger. You're not going to put in a ton of detail. But yeah, so we started by trimming our poster paper. If you don't, just hold it without trimming. Now we're going to draw simple jack-o'-lantern. This is a good project if you're not a great drawer, not Mr. Artman. Because you don't have to be able to draw perfect circle. You just kind of draw oddly shaped, lumpy round thing and then add face to it. You're not real sure on what kind of face to add. Look up maybe pictures of other jack-o'-lanterns or jack-o'-lantern patterns to get the idea. I've done many, so I like the switch between happy, goofy, and maybe a little bit more creepy or sinister. But yeah, that's basically it. Then we put it back in. Lucky with this one we have brakes, so I don't have to take it down. Not brake, but brace. I almost said bracky. Anyway, so I don't have to take it down. And yeah, now we'll just let the picture, the liquid let you get what it is. Going over, do the outline bits. And it adds a little detail on this one to give it more depth and weight. See how I've added these extra lines in like there's this shell of jack-o'-lantern rind. Yeah, the rind or the flesh bit that you carve into. Because in the real one you'll get to see depth. It'll be, like a half-inch cord, however thick you end up deciding to leave it. But there we go. This is a little bit maybe more detailed than you want. If you don't want to do this, don't do this. It's all up to you. Yeah, just go through, find it. I do kind of do random geometric again for background. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd made it more like, like it was sitting on a porch or a wall or something with sky behind it. Maybe you do that or a future idea. See here in a second, I go around outline here. The reason I'm still not sure of why I did it with these. I think this is the only one I did that. Okay, so yeah, you just go through and kind of copy what I do, but make it your own and different. Don't want to make it exactly the same. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. We're back again once more. Alright, so now we're going to start filling in. On this one, as I said earlier, I want to get a bit of depth. So I use a light green, I think like spring green. I have to start writing this down. And then I use Kelly green, to give it like where the shadow would be. One thing you'll notice here that I'm doing is I'm using my, I think it's flower, either the lighter yellow and then my citrus yellow. And I'm using the lighter yellow on the right because, in my opinion, the rinds are usually kind of close to the right, like the inside flesh, but you get that real glow from the yellow in the eyes. So you'd think it would make sense to make the skin part the darker color, but I think this works better. But yeah, just taking my time and filling these in. One thing I'm going to have to work more on is really getting in the edges. I've noticed on a lot of these, once I get them going and put them together, I have little gaps around some of the edges. So make sure you do better than I do. Also go through and, poke and holes. Most people don't seem to mind, but it bothers me. I think here I'm using a straight pen, but in the future I start using a mechanical pencil that he's been drawing with, so it's got the point on it. That seems to work really well. Still need to try lighter. I think that might work well. Pardon me if I take pauses and I'm a little gassy. Dinner is doing something to me, I tell you. It wasn't even that spicy. But anyway, so yeah, we're just going to go through and keep filling in like we always do. Fill in a bit, poke holes. Make sure it's all good around the edges. This one, some of these, and this one, and I got the one I was working on, already use up a lot of our paint, but that's okay because you can, buy more if you need it. Maybe buy a little, if you're going to do a bunch of these, maybe pick out what colors you want to use. You can buy more of those. But yeah, so we just fill in. Are you filling? I'm filling it. You get it. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back again. We're going to talk about me doing the background there for a second. I do kind of blocky gradient thing. Gives like illusion of night sky. This is when I thought, oh man, I should have just done like a wall and night sky. But it's okay. This works out. Looks pretty good. The only thing really to make sure if you do this sort of thing or whatever is really getting around edges. I saw a couple of spots where it didn't quite get this much, so like regular light peeked out, which probably could have neat effect, but not what I was going for. But yeah, I start out with violet purple, and then I go to, I think they just call it purple, like there's a cool one and then a warmer one, and then I go up through the reds, the ruby, which is I think darker, and then like the real red, and then I go to blue diamond, real blue or true blue, and I go to the navy. So it gives it the same gradient idea. Another thing you may want to think about is some of these colors will let less light in or not. So maybe you spread them out a little bit thinner if you want more light to come through. Okay, take a quick break. There are a couple more things I want to tell you about as we work along. Back again, that came out weird. What was I saying? Anyway, not important. Alright, so now just a little bit more. So I had a bit of shadow translucent. You want to maybe block off a little bit of light that comes through. So instead of doing it up front, I think it's a good idea. At least I thought it was a good idea on this to add, lines around the edges of this heart. Kind of give it more subdued. And then I start going in bottom or underside. Yeah, that sounds a good idea. Or backside, this is bright white. I've learned these. I don't know all the names, but I know the whites. But see, with the gallery glass, they have a couple of different ones. They've got clear, They've got one that's like, I guess, a bit more of a mottled stain effect. They've got Snow White, which, you know, a little bit of translucence. And then the Bright White's the more opaque of them all. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around Pumpkin. And then here, see how it's dried? You can see a little bit of translucence. So what I'll do is I'll go back over, add more. And then this time I'll start to go into the jack-o'-lantern. But what I want to do is I want to make sure I don't go behind the parts where it's cut out. That's where I want the most light to come through. So yeah. I go around it and I start marking the others. I go, wait, I marked it, you get it, you understand what I'm saying. I reline face and mouth. Also around some point in here, I start to run out of paint. So I use brush to smear it out a bit, you know, really spread it in. This isn't a bad idea. You can use brush with this stuff. It just doesn't come out quite as thick. And then it'll give it a really good mottled edge. You'll see me here, yeah, here we go. I'm just going to start tapping it up and down to really, you know, make it, instead of brush strokes, give it uniform mottling. I don't know what else comes with the bits and idiots. Another thing I've done here is I'm going to paint this frame. See, the back is already white, pretty white. And then the sides are black though, and if it's white, it will reflect more of the light, like it'll make it brighter inside. So that's, you know, gives a little bit better look, I think, on some of them. Maybe not one. I go ahead and glue this together so it's one piece. Alright, now we're going to start with wire. So we'll use our same 6-volt button cell battery holder with wires and switch on this one. In upcoming future ones I use different lights, but this one it still works. See, I said with the little shadow boxes I could, you know, you did 2 in series, it was fine, but then you put on third one, it really dimmed it. Because battery or diodes work as resistors, or you know, it blocks light, it uses up electricity, so it less comes through. But what I can do is I run these in series. So you think of series as like straight line, positive to negative. It goes from the positive to the positive point on the LED, and then the other side it comes out to the negative point. You wire that to the next one's positive, and then that one goes to the other side goes to negative. So you think of loop. But what I can do is I can sort of cheat or trick it. I can wire 2 more in, but I run them parallel, which is kind of like a ladder. Like I run negative to negative and positive to positive. You say, wait, how does that work? I thought it only went one, but it is only going through one. So yeah, what this will do is it'll keep voltage up. It won't like suck down on how much is going through, but it can, if you're not careful, kill off battery quicker. But you know, with these batteries on these tiny LEDs last a pretty good while. So yeah, here we go. See how I do it there? Just have my loop already set up, and then I run parallel. It's like I said, parallel like that. And then I get it all wired, and I solder it, and I glue it now where I want it. And then here in a minute I do other side. So there you go. Fun little wiring trick you can try for yourself. Okay, I may be back. Everything's wired up and looks good. I'm gonna go back over with a bit of Snow White. The more, you know, diffuse the LEDs themselves a little bit. And that's it, there you go. Neat looking Shadowbox jack-o'-lantern. You do see here some of those spots I mentioned I missed. But you know, go and learn. Okay, hope you had fun. Come back next time. We work on something kind of the same but different. Goodbye.